Just a couple of thoughts on what both gentlemen have had to say. Chris Pine there really dodged that question on whether they would accept Peter Slipper's vote. Of course, the coalition, I think, will and should accept Peter Slipper's vote, just as they should really accept Craig Thompson's vote. I think it is a bit silly when you get into where do you draw the line on, the sort of behaviour of the MP whose vote you're going to accept and not. Look, the party should just accept whatever votes come their way. I think this does get rather confusing when you start ruling in and out accepting people's votes. As for Anthony Albanese, well, I think there's still a big inconsistency in the government's defence of what it did yesterday. When you pressed him on it, Anthony Albanese still argues that it was not the proper process for Parliament to dump the Speaker. He's therefore saying that Parliament shouldn't dump a Speaker whose character has been called into such question, as we saw with the revelation of these text messages from Peter Slipper, these vile text messages, as Anthony Albanese acknowledges. But then he goes on later in your interview to say that it was the right thing for him to resign. So if it was the right thing for him to resign over this whole issue, why is it the wrong thing for Parliament to dump him? I do think there's a bit of an inconsistency there, and I think still some glaring hypocrisy on the part of the government for charging in attacking Tony Abbott for sexism and tolerating sexism, and then still defending Peter Slipper right until the end. Interesting that Anthony Albanese won't say whether he had conversations with Peter Slipper urging him to go, nor whether he had conversations with Alex Somalier, the Liberal MP, who clearly wanted the Speaker's job as well. But people will read into that what they will. I think the government at the end of the day are pretty happy to see Peter Slipper resign. But gee, it's been awfully damaging for the government throughout all of this, and particularly for the Prime Minister, with more questions over her judgment in putting Slipper in the chair and then defending him yesterday as well.